Let's talk a bit about the exhaust system. The Peugeot 308 has this bracket that holds the exhaust system at the rear of the car. Or more precisely, this is one of the brackets. So, I accidentally noticed that over time, the rubber part had separated from the aluminum frame. The interesting thing is, if I hadn't specifically looked at it, I wouldn't have noticed at all because there were no obvious signs of a problem. Why did this situation occur in the first place? I'm not sure why, but the bracket is made of some aluminum alloy, and aluminum, of course, isn't... Well, it's not that it doesn't exist, but it has a particular characteristic. It oxidizes, and as a result, crumbles. Here's what happened. The layer of aluminum to which this rubber ring was glued oxidized, turned to dust, and now the rubber doesn't stick anymore. How do we solve this issue? It seems simple enough. Just look up the part number in the diagram and that's it, but it wasn't that straightforward. By the way, you can pause the video to check the part number on screen. If you're having issues with other suspension components, their numbers are also displayed. Go ahead, pause and take a look. How much does this thing cost? I was absolutely shocked by the price. I know it might sound silly, but this part costs a whopping $80. If you think that's just for Auto 1, you'd be wrong. Many sites don't even list this part, and where you can find it, let's say on less expensive sites, the situation is similar. For example, in Poland, it's about $45, which is better but still pricey. That's where our Chinese friends come in handy. I managed to order this part on AliExpress for just $14, but this was before taxes were introduced. As of fall 2023, the price is roughly $18, and I actually prefer this price point much more. I'll say right off the bat that it's not the original, but I didn't notice any major quality issues. If I didn't have the original in front of me, it'd be impossible to tell this is a Chinese part. The material and durability are questionable. Even if the original lasted 8 years before showing wear, it's still up in the air. But again, the quality is decent. I have no complaints. Let's see how it holds up. There's nothing complicated about removing the installation. Just unscrew 2 screws, take off the bracket, and reassemble in reverse order. Pro tip, it's better to grease the exhaust system pin, let's say with some WD-40, then everything will come off much easier. Putting it back on shouldn't be difficult either. I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to unscrew the bolts, that they'd be stuck, or that I'd strip them. But nope, they came out like they were. So after driving for a while, let me tell you what happened. I had this brilliant idea, and you might wonder why I'd even bother changing this bracket. Well, let me explain. I took the old bracket and removed the rubber from it. The rubber was still in good shape, so I cleaned the inside of the metal to create a better surface for gluing. Then I thoroughly cleaned the rubber itself. Did a really conscientious job. After that, I glued everything back together. Now, I'm not sure what the best glue is for this, so I just used what I had on hand. I applied the glue, waited for it to set, however long that took, and then swapped out the new bracket for this refurbished old one. And that's pretty much it. Now, we're working with the old but modernized bracket. I've driven about 5,000 kilometers with this bracket. The performance has been excellent. Let's see what happens next, especially after winter. In any case, as a temporary solution, it's working great without much thought. If we consider which glue is best to use, I think you don't need to buy anything special. Take note of that. Also, if you've noticed that everything here looks a bit smeared, it's just regular push grease. I applied it about 2 years ago and everything's still perfect. It doesn't leak, doesn't smell, costs next to nothing, and does its job excellently. The only downside, I'll say again, is that applying it can be a bit messy. Other than that, it's simply fantastic. Well, I guess that's about it. There's not much else to say. Thanks everyone for watching and take care.